Hello everyone, welcome to our series of lecture. Today we will be starting a new course, you can say. Actually, we have started an initiative to understand the concept of social science thoroughly, right? So we have started this initiative that our team would be providing explanation with detail plus notes to every children. So if you are interested in this course, kindly post a comment. So before going to that particular course, let me concentrate on our topic. So today we'll be discussing fundamental rights, right? So what is fundamental rights? So we'll be discussing the fundamental rights, its different types, what is the significance of it, and we will try to understand this with various examples. One more announcement I would like to make here, that everything that has been given in the slide is only based on an NCERT book, right? I would be not covering the topic with more detail as compared to the adult section of the society, that is meant for the competitive examination. Yes, this particular topic is very important for every competitive examination because this would provide you the base, right? If you do not know the base, then it will be very difficult for you to understand. But for today's concern, I am just focusing to the class 8 student, nothing else. So but still, if you want to get more clarification or more detailed explanation of each and every right that I'll be discussing here, you can share with us, right? So let's get started our topic. So here is the total plan which we'll be covering in this particular slide. The first we'll be understanding the meaning of fundamental rights. What is fundamental rights? Then we'd come to the objectives of fundamental rights. Then definitely different types of fundamental rights would be given with various examples. Even I have also written here, the reference would be the NCERT Class 8 book of Social and Political Life, which is contained in Chapter 1. So let's understand fundamental rights. So if you say the fundamental rights, fundamental means basic right, the rights that would give you a dignified life to live in. This is basically incorporated in Part 3 of the Constitution. As we know, our Constitution is divided into various parts. So in Part 1, there would be different section. Part 2, there will be different. Similarly, in Part 3, there is fundamental rights, right? So from Article 12 to 35, the rights have been included. One of the important questions that has been there in various examination, that from which constitution this rights has been derived. So basically our constitution is formed with the help of different principles, or you can say different types of sources from which it has been made. So you can say there are many principles, like for example secularism would be coming from different constitution, or you can say the unitary feature, or you can say the federal features. All other features are being taken from different constitutions in the world. So similarly, like that, from USA we have derived the fundamental rights from them. I hope it's clear. So this basically guarantees every individual without any discrimination. So without any discrimination, without any against to it, these rights would be provided to you. And if you think that you are not getting these rights as far as according to the rules and regulation that has been provided, you can easily claim over it, right? So let's understand the different types of fundamental rights. First, we have to understand that at present there are 6 fundamental rights. Article based on right to property has been excluded here. So now right to property is a legal right. It's not a fundamental right. Okay. So these are the few rights that has been there in the Constitution. From Article 14 to 18, there is a right to equality. From 19 to 22, there is right to freedom. Then from 23 to 24, there is right against exploitation. 25 to 28, freedom of religion. 29 to 30, cultural and educational right. And the last one is 32 to 35. This is right to constitutional remedies. So according to Ambedkar, as we know, Ambedkar is the forefather, you can say the sole father of Indian Constitution. He told that this particular right to constitutional remedies, is the heart and soul of the Constitution. Though this has been not given in the NCERT book, but still this used to come in various examinations, right? So I have said here. So here is an image which will depicts you the whole 6 fundamental rights. You can check to it. So let's understand why it is called fundamental rights, means why it is important for the society, or on the other hand you can say what is the significance of fundamental rights. So the rights basically which are needed for the society is fundamental rights, right? So in a previous lecture, means maybe in your earlier chapters of your school days, the idea of constitution has already been given, but still if you are not clear, you can easily share this thing to us. So basically this is a part of constitution which is included in the part 3 of the constitution. Now the question comes, why we need this right? Why? Definitely some question would be arising in your mind, right? So why we need it? So let's discuss this with various sort of example. Suppose in a democracy the powers are exercised by the leaders, that is our representatives, right? So in such a situation, if there is a good chance of misusing their authority and go against the interest of minorities, in that situation, for example, let's take example of your class captain, right? So you have a captain in your class. You know that captain has possessed some powers, and if that person misuse his power, then what you can do? You can claim your right. So this is what you can easily go and talk to the principal, headmistress, whatever it is. You can easily talk to them and say that, okay, fine, our captain is discriminating us, so do whatever is required, right? This is what? This is your right. So similarly, if you relate the school captain example with the representative of your nation. If representative of a nation misuses authority because he possesses or she possesses some power, then it is against the fundamental right and you can easily claim over it. Hope this has been clear. Now let's talk about types of fundamental rights. So there are different types of fundamental rights as we have already discussed in the previous slides. Now we'll be going detail to it. The first one is right to equality. So every citizen in this country have equal rights irrespective of caste, creed, religion, color, sex, race, etc. So you have to treat every individual with equal eye, right? So here I have given an example of Akachi. Just visualize Akachi is one of your mates in your classroom who is a transgender fellow, right? First one is she is a Negro transgender. So Negro is depicted through the color of black color. So means racial discrimination is there. Transgender means gender discrimination is there, right? So what would be your attitude towards that fellow? What would be your attitude? If it is unequal, then you are against fundamental rights, it is right to equality. And if you are treating them as equal, then you are with the right to equality. It's clear? Okay, fine. So I have also given an example of the movie Lagan. I hope everybody has watched this movie. It's a very beautiful movie of Amir Khan, right? So here there is a character that is Kachra. So which Kachra? Kachra means what? Waste. So just think over it. A particular name. Why? He is an untouchable, right? So he has been called as Kachra. Kachra means waste. So it is against fundamental rights. You cannot easily judge a person with the caste background. So here are some of the images of right to work. Right to work means it would come under right to equality, where all the individual in a platform, or you can say in an institution where the people works, have to be treated as equal. There are very issues regarding payment of wages, means that the women used to pay less than the men folk, which is an unequal nature, right? Next come untouchability, right? Untouchability means छूना नहीं है सपोज, ठीक है, तो क्यों छूना नहीं है, दैट शुड बी देयर, व्हाई? दिस इज बेस्ड ऑन द कास्ट डिस्क्रिमिनेशन which should not be there in our society. Then come gender discrimination, means everyone, doesn't matter if a girl has to be educated. Why there is a famous slogan stated beti bachao beti padhao and so on. Why? Because every girl should be educated. Doesn't mean that she is a boy, means that children is a girl or a boy. You have to give equal education to everyone, right? Even right to education is there, where from 6 to 14 years of age of any children would have to get free education from the government side. And if anybody is violating this particular principle, then you can easily go against it. So here I have given you the explanation regarding the images, although I have already explained, but still if you are interested you can go through these slides. Next come right to freedom. So right to freedom is basically right of speech again and expression. Means if you can easily speak whatever right it is right to freedom and expression. Suppose in a whole crowd, if you want to say something correct, not bakwas, okay, if you say something correct, then you have that right to say. So this is about freedom. So I have given you an example of right to access internet. You know, even this today we are doing digital class, right? So this is what? This is right to internet. If even the Kerala government has announced that people should have right to internet, but though there are many states, even most of the states do not have this particular right, but still means what? People are wanting this, right? They are expressing their want. Means we need internet, we want to access internet for our own benefit, for our own study material, and if we do not get this, it will harm for us. We could not able to progress, right? This is what? This is freedom of expression. So here are some of the images where right to form an association. If you feel you want to express your feeling through an association, you can easily form an association, right? Then it's a ban on internet, which I have already discussed in the just few seconds ago. Then freedom of speech, means you cannot say anything if though it is right. So sorry. So in this particular slide I have already discussed the explanation of the images. If you want to go through it, you can easily go through, just have a check on it. Next come right against exploitation. So this article is from article 23 to 24, and one more important thing, please remember the number, right? It's very important. You should have to chronologically remember those number. This right actually prohibits human trafficking, forced labor and employment under 14 years of age, right? So what is child labor? Child labor is definitely a discrimination against fundamental right. Against the fundamental right. Which fundamental right? Right against exploitation. So here I have given you the definition of child labor. So child labor basically derives children from the benefit of childhood. It basically exploits an individual with mentally, physically or socially. With the three dimension, when a person has been exploited under the age of 14 years, then it is child labor. I hope everyone have seen child labor, right? You have seen the people, very small kids are working in a hotel, in even many households. What is this? This is child labor, nothing else. If you see this thing, just go and express your feeling. Next come child trafficking. So here child trafficking means they are very small children which are being taken to different international borders for selling. whether they will be selling their kidneys, heart, liver, right? This is what? This is human trafficking. It's a very, you can say, alarming issue of today's society. Next image is of child labor. You just see in the slide where a very small children are carrying a bucket of sand, or you can say stone, to the construction site. This is nothing else, just child labor. Next comes right to freedom of religion, where every citizens are ensured to practice, profess and propagate the religion of their choice. This is basically, here I have given you a task. Suppose take a few group of students comprising of every religion in your class and try to understand about the religion and the significance of festivals, right? Suppose make 2-3 groups of the person whom you know, right? 2-3 students of Hindu, 2-3 students of Muslims, Christians and so on, and try to understand each other religions, you can say their way of living, their culture, their festival. This would give you a understanding, or you can say a sense of respect towards them, right? Here I have just given you a task for sensitize you towards any other religion, but freedom of religion basically means you can easily profess whatever religion you want to like. Suppose being a Hindu, you can easily go to a church and offer prayer. Being a Muslim, you can easily come to a Hindu temple and offer prayer, right? This is freedom of religion. I hope it's clear. This is an image of freedom of religion where all the religion has been depicted. And the next one is cultural and educational rights, where the Constitution try to preserve the culture of every group's minority and religion, and also they try to preserve the educational institution. For example, why the government has tried to focus on mother tongue? Why? Because they try to preserve the mother tongue, right? If everybody is speaking but one language, it is English, then our diversity, means India is full of diversity. If you look at the language, even in the language also there are many dialects. So to preserve those things, those steps are being taken, right? So if you see madrasa is an educational institution of Muslim. Why it is there? To preserve the culture of the minority class. This is about educational, culture and educational right. Here I have given the images of tribes of Mizoram, tribes of Arunachal Pradesh, tribes of Nagaland. So these are the few tribes which try to preserve their own culture, and if you try to hamper this, means what? You are against the fundamental rights. And the last one is right to constitutional remedies, which comes under Article 32. This right basically provides, or you can say allows, every individual, if somebody feels that he or she has been violated by any of the fundamental rights, so you can easily go to the court. This comes under right to constitutional remedies, for which Ambedkar said that is the heart and soul of Indian Constitution. For instance, if you you can say right to equality has been violated, right? So you can easily approach the court, and this would come under this constitutional remedies. So these are some of the rights. There are many section comes under constitutional remedies. There is a habeas corpus, mandamus, quarantos and so on, which have been a bit higher level, but still if you want, I can definitely explain to you, but my motive is to make you give you a baseline of fundamental right, which is there in the NCERT book, right? So now let's talk about some of the significance of fundamental rights. So basically, fundamental rights form the bedrock of the democracy. What is democracy? Democracy is a governance where it is elected by the people, right? Next one is, it's put the foundation of social equality and justice. This means every individual would get an equal status or equal rights. It provides equality. Next one is ensure dignity and respect of the individual. Definitely is try to protect, or you can say guaranteed, individuals with different their basic rights. Last one is they try to facilitate the participation of people in political process. What does this mean? Participation means, you can say participation of people is a very important process in democracy, where involvement in economic, political, cultural process help people for a better nation. Participation of people means, you can say, why you go for vote, right? You are participating in a democratic process. Ultimately, you are choosing your own representative, so you are going to cast your vote. This is participation. Unless and until you do not go in participation with the political process, then our nation would not be progress. So this is our right, and we need to fulfill our right. So this is the significance of fundamental rights. So there are some of the additional information which are being given. The first one is, it is described as the Magna Carta of India, right? It is derived from the Constitution of USA, which had already been given. Next, it protects the liberties and freedom of people against the arbitrary rule of government. What is arbitrary rule? Means breach of law. Means you cannot violate the things, right? Next information is of right to property. Right to property is basically every citizen has right to acquire, hold and dispose property. So this is now is not a fundamental right, it's an illegal right now. Earlier it was a fundamental right. Fine. Next come Citizenship Amendment Act. I know this Citizenship Amendment Act is not related to Class 8 book, but still I have given you in this information so that you just click to your mind. And if you want to know many things about this, definitely you can share with us and we will provide you entire thing. So here are some of the activities that is I have been given here. Kindly look at the activities. First question that I have given is discuss the merits of fundamental rights. Then, why do you think fundamental rights are necessary in democracy? Then write a short note on child labor and untouchability, right? And here I have given you for, you can say, following phases, which you can say which right is violating, right? The first one is Dalit is not allowed to enter temple. This phase would be related to which right? Next one is Abdul was arrested by police without committing any sin. So this is your activity, so you just do it by yourself. Third one is a Sikh is prohibited to wear turban and keep kirpan. So what is this, right? Okay. So hope you have understood the thing. So that's all for today. If you have any query, you can just post a comment. That's all. Thank you. Have a great day.